So, if you've been looking into new business ideas in India, chances are you've seen the buzz around microgreens. I mean, it's everywhere, right? But what's the real story? Is it all just hype? Well, today, we're going to cut through all that noise and get to the hard truth, using insights from one of India's top microgreens experts, Ravindra. Let's dive in.
This right here is the #1 question on everyone's mind. It's the big one. Can you actually make a real, sustainable living from this? The internet, of course, is flooded with answers, but the problem is, most of them aren't really helping. And here's why. Most of the information you'll find falls into one of two dangerous traps. On one side, you've got this crazy unrealistic hype, the earn a lock in your first month videos. And on the other side, you have total negativity. People saying, it's a bubble, it's impossible, don't even try. Neither of those gives you the real picture. So, that's what we're here to do today. This isn't about selling you a dream or crushing your hopes. It's about giving you a clear, honest way to figure out the most important thing. Based on your personality, your goals, and the way you work, is this business actually the right fit for you? Okay, so let's start with the good stuff. Who is genuinely a great fit for this kind of business? It turns out success here has a lot more to do with your mindset and personality than you might think. So let's break down that ideal profile. What's really interesting here is that this business isn't for the typical move fast and break things type. It's actually perfect for people who value control and steady, consistent progress over some chaotic rush. If you're someone who can follow a system, who respects a process, and who understands that hygiene is non-negotiable, well, you've already got a massive advantage. And check out the kinds of people who really thrive. Because it doesn't require a huge space and has a very predictable workflow, it's a fantastic opportunity for women entrepreneurs, especially if you're working from home. It's also become a powerful path for professionals, people from IT, banking, teaching, who are feeling burnt out and want something that's not just an income, but feels truly meaningful. Now this one is huge. If you're already passionate about health, wellness, and clean food, you have a natural superpower in this business. Why? Because you don't just see microgreens as a product to be sold, you genuinely understand their value. And trust me, selling something you actually believe in is a complete game changer. All right, time to flip the coin. We need to have a serious reality check. This business is absolutely not for everyone, and it's so important to be honest about that up front. Let's talk about who should probably pump the brakes and think twice before jumping in. Let me be crystal clear here. If you are looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, this is not it. Just forget about those videos you've seen. The beginning is all about learning the craft, making mistakes, and building relationships. It's an active business, not some passive income stream you can set and forget. This one's a deal breaker. Microgreens are alive. They don't know it's a Sunday. They don't care that it's Diwali. They need your attention every single day. If the thought of a 365-day-a-year responsibility makes you feel a little panicked, that's a major red flag. Look, you don't have to be this super outgoing extrovert. Introverts can do incredibly well here, but what you can't be is avoidant. You have to be willing to talk to people, to explain the value of what you're growing, to handle feedback, and to build genuine trust. If you actively hate the idea of talking to customers, you are going to struggle big time. And this leads us to a really common and very expensive mistake. You can't just watch a YouTube video about a farm in Bangalore and think you can copy-paste that exact model to your city. It just doesn't work. Every market is different. You have to be ready to adapt your pricing, your products, your entire sales strategy to fit your local area. So if success isn't about having a huge farm or a bunch of fancy equipment, then what skills actually matter? Well, it really boils down to 4 core things that, believe it or not, anyone can learn. First, let's just bust some myths. You do not need to spend a ton of money on expensive equipment, you do not need a massive space, and you do not need a complicated hydroponic system to get started. People are succeeding with really simple, low-cost setups. The real investment is in your skills, not your stuff. So here they are, the 4 pillars. Number 1 is the actual growing skill, knowing your seeds, light, and water. Number 2, hygiene discipline. This is so critical for preventing mold and keeping your products safe. 3 is sales and communication, your ability to actually connect with people and explain the value. And 4, business thinking, knowing your costs, your pricing, and how to stay consistent. Master these 4 and you're well on your way.
Now, this brings us to a really important point. Knowing how to do those four things is one thing, but piecing them all together to create a real sustainable business, that's a whole other ballgame. And this is where so many people get it wrong.
Just let that sink in for a second. It's a quote from Ravindra G, and it's so powerful. Most people don't fail because the business model is bad. They fail because their training stopped at the hobby level. See, almost anyone can learn how to grow microgreens, but very few are ever taught how to build a business around them. And that difference is everything. It all comes down to your goal. If you just want to grow some greens for your family's salads, beginner training is perfect. But if you want to build a real business, you need training that focuses on production systems, on pricing strategies, on sales funnels. You have to know which path you're on and get the right kind of guidance.
You just have to be really careful out there because there's this dangerous trend of so-called gurus who've never actually run a successful microgreens business themselves. They sell courses with these wild income claims, and what happens? It leads to students failing, families getting frustrated, and a lot of distrust in the whole industry.
So how do you find someone who's legit? It's actually pretty simple. A credible mentor absolutely must have these three things, no exceptions. They need real, hands-on farming experience, they need real-world selling experience, and maybe most important of all, they need a track record of real students who've actually succeeded.
And you know, that's what separates a true mentor from a trend chaser, their motivation. For someone like Ravindra G, this whole thing didn't start because microgreens were trendy. It started as a mission driven by the desire to fight poor nutrition and by personal family experiences. That depth of purpose is everything.
Which brings us right back to the beginning, to the one final crucial question you have to ask yourself. What are you actually looking for? Because a microgreens business is not a path to easy money. But for the right person, the patient, the disciplined, the purpose-driven person, it offers something so much more valuable, meaningful income. And if that's what you're after, this just might be the path for you.